Okay. All right, so great job role-playing, guys. And it's really great to see you guys taking this seriously. And role-playing is one of the most important parts of training. Right? So right now, this is your practice. And the more work you put in with your role-playing right now, the more you're going to know your manual, and the more you're going to sound like an expert. And customers listen to people that sound like an expert. That's right. Okay, so you guys have to sound like experts. So that's why it's so important. Because you guys remember what the percentages of communication are? What percentage of communication is the words that you're saying?
7%.
And what percentage of communication is your voice quality? It's 38%, right? And then what percentage is your physiology?
55.
Yeah, 55%, right? So it's important for you guys to know your manual so you can focus on the physiology and the voice quality, right? Like I told you guys yesterday, when you ring the doorbell, turn yourselves on, right? Get yourselves ready for your appointment. So, and then that's why you have to know your manual. So I want to start today by just reviewing everything that we've talked about so far. All right, so take out your manuals, open it to page 1, and yeah, I want you guys to just shout back the answers. And I'm going to ask some questions about the presentation thus far. And today it's really important for all of you to get involved, even more so than yesterday. So today, I want you guys to all shout back the answers. I want you to get involved. And it's okay if more than one people answer at once. It's okay if we get different answers. Then we'll have a discussion. Right? So this is important for all you guys to answer today, okay? So, and I promise all the questions I ask you, your answers are going to be in your manual. Right? So let's go ahead and start. So you start the presentation by doing what? What's the first thing you do in the presentation?
Build rapport.
Yeah, you build rapport. Okay, just like we talked about yesterday, when you build rapport with somebody, right? When you have rapport with them, if you're confident, you're going to be able to influence them, which just means they're going to listen to you. So it's really important that you build rapport. And what are some good things that we do to build rapport?
Compliment. Ask questions.
Okay. It's actually not in your manual, Ricky. So what's in your manual?
Compliment.
Okay, so to compliment them, right? And what are some good things to compliment them on?
Their house.
Their home, yeah, their kitchen. What else?
Family.
Dining room table.
Sure, anything that like they bought, anything that like they chose themselves, because you're basically complimenting their selection, right? So yeah, you definitely give them some compliments. And then what are some other good things to do?
Get to know them.
Get to know them. That's right. Okay. And so find out about their kids, right? People love to talk about their kids, their occupation, right? Travel, hobbies, cooking habits, and then what's some other things you can do to build rapport?
Share about yourself.
Tell them about yourself, right? So tell them like your story, right? What your goals are, how this position is helping you towards your goals, right? And yeah, so you build rapport, and then you talk about referrals, right? You tell them how you're building your Cutco business, and then you talk about the fast start contest. Tell them you're in a contest right now, and then you do the transition, and you talk about why Cutco's awesome, and then after you build rapport, what's the next thing that we talk about on page 2?
Shopping spree.
Yeah, so the shopping spree, right? We go through that, and we talk about setting up the appointment, and then we talk about the company. So, after we've told them about ourselves, talk about the company that we work for, right? So what are the different things about our company that make us really impressive? What makes Cutco and Vector a really impressive company?
How long they've been around?
How long they've been around? How long they've been around for?
Since 1949.
Yeah, so for 60 years, Josh. For 60 years, Cutco's been growing. Vector's been growing at a rate of around 10% since 1981, right? So what does that say about a company if it's been growing at that rate and it's been around for that long?
Really good.
Yeah, it's a good company, right? People like their products, right? What else? What are some other things that we tell them that show them how impressive of a company Cutco and Vector is that build trust?
Made in USA.
Made in the United States, right? Yeah, that's right, Vern. America, right? You gotta rock that. Some people only buy American products. What else?
200 million worth of Cutco annually and have over 16 million referred customers.
That's right. Okay. So if you look at that, like right now it's around 18 million customers, like we talked about yesterday, right? How many people are there in the average American household?
4.
It's like there's like what? It's like 2.5 kids, right? That's the average American household. So it's 4.5. So there's 300 million Americans. Divide that by 4.5. How many American households are there about? So I don't know the exact math on this. I don't know, but if you use that math, right? There's about 85 million households. So if 18 million of them own Cutco, what percentage of American households own Cutco?
How much?
15%, 12%.
It's 1 out of every 4, Jason, right? So what that says to a customer is, hey, you know somebody who owns Cutco, right? So, so yeah, you tell them all these impressive things about the company, how we're on TV, on the Food Network, Modern Marvels, Made in America, and Made in New York, and
Giving back.
and that's how, yeah, and we talk about how we give back. That's right, Vern. And these are all different ways that we show just the company that we work for. And then what do we do next? What do we show them first?
Super shears.
The super shears, right?
Yeah.
And why do we show them the super shears first, Vern?
To get them interested right away.
Right, because no matter like what they're thinking, they're like, holy shit, you just cut a penny, right? So they're impressed at that point. And then what do we do next?
Veggie peel.
You use the veggie peeler. Okay, and just 2 products that are going to make them really see how great of a product Cutco is before we go through the rest of the presentation. All right, and then next, what's the next thing we talk about?
Yuck. Junk knives.
Junk knives, right? Okay. Yeah. So now we talk about the disadvantage of common knives, and like we talked about yesterday, just knives are things that most people just aren't educated on. People don't go through a knife class. Like, how should I buy knives? People don't like teach their kids how to buy knives. Most people are just uneducated. So during the presentation, what you're doing on this page is you're doing education-based marketing, like we talked about yesterday, right? So you're educating the customer on why they're on the cutlery market, and give them the education they probably never had on why their knives are bad. And then after that, like we'll go through in a minute, you establish Cutco as the expert. So what are the different things about wooden handles that make them a bad knife, that make them a junk knife?
Unsanitary.
Unsanitary.
Okay, yeah, and why are they unsanitary?
They absorb everything.
Odor. Gross things.
Bacteria.
Okay, just stop for a minute, all right? So Vern, you just said absorb everything, right? Did that sound like an expert, everybody?
No.
No, okay. So what did Alex say? Alex said, oh, they're unsanitary because they absorb liquids, bacteria, germs, and retain odors, right? So which one sounded more professional?
Alex.
Right, where did she get her answer from?
The manual.
Her manual, that's right. So you actually sound, like if you follow your manual, what do you sound like?
An expert.
That's right, so you have to follow your manual, right? And if you just like try to make it up, you're not going to sound as good. If you're like, yeah, like, wooden handles are not good because they absorb like, everything, Mrs. Jones. Doesn't sound like an expert. So, look, when I ask you a question, you have the answers. Where are your answers? In your manual. Read your manual because then you sound like a what? And who do people listen to? That's right, all right? So, wooden handles, they're unsanitary because they absorb liquids, bacteria, germs, retain odors, right? In most states, right, they won't even use wooden handles because of sanitation concerns. So, and then remember that, see, if I don't know about you, but if they're unsanitary, I wouldn't want to use that in my kitchen. Plastic handles, why are they bad?
Usually glued together.
Yeah, they're usually glued together, right?
Slippery when wet.
Fall apart easily, okay? Especially in the dishwasher, right? And you guys should all have your manuals out now. Reading from your manual. Just read exactly what it says. You'll sound like an expert then. And then the tang, right? So most knives have what kind of tang?
Partial.
Why is that bad? Yeah, because it's weak
Weak
and it's
and
unbalanced, so they
unbalanced.
break easily. And then most rivets are made of what?
Brass.
That's right. And why is brass bad?
Expand, contract, and loosen, creating gaps for food particles, making it unsanitary.
Exactly, all right? So then blah, blah, blah. So after that, after we've educated them on like the cutlery market, now we talk about what makes Cutco the world's best cutlery, right? So we go through the 5 different features. Not 1, not 2, but 5 different freaking features that make Cutco the world's best cutlery. So what's the first feature that we talk about?
Universal wedge lock handle.
Universal wedge lock handle, all right? And like we talked about yesterday, you got to explain the feature, but then you also have to explain the benefit. So why is it good? Why is universal wedge lock handle good?
Fits any size hand.
Yeah, because it fits any size hand, right?
Right,
Left,
left.
right, big or small, right? And the way it works is your thumb and your forefinger lock into place for better control and safety. And what does that do? It means that it's what? What kind of design is it?
Ergonomic.
Right, and what does that do?
Reduces hand fatigue.
Reduces hand fatigue and slipping, all right? So what you're doing here is you're explaining the feature and then also the benefit to the customer. And then you tell them it makes Cutco more expensive, but it's worth it because it's more comfortable and safe. So what's the next feature?
Thermal resin.
Thermal resin, that's right. And that's the handle material we use. It won't chip, crack, or break, and it's an expensive material to use, but why is it worth it?
Dishwasher safe.
Because it's dishwasher safe and it's sanitary,
Sanitary.
all right? So, full tang, steel. So what you're doing here is, again, you're just building the value each time by really explaining how Cutco, each of these unique features benefits them. So, let me tell you a story. So when I bought my first MacBook, right, I went to the Mac store, and I was buying a computer for college. And I ended up getting the 17-inch MacBook Pro. It was $3,000. But I didn't go in expecting to buy a $3,000 computer. Right? I went into the Mac store, and I just wanted a computer for school. But, has anybody ever been to Mac before? Who here's been to Mac? Okay, they're pretty nice there, aren't they? They're like really good at customer service. They're not very high pressure and pushy, are they? No, that's right, because at Mac, they don't get paid on commission. So, like, I went into the store, the guy was really friendly, he started telling me about the 17-inch, right? And he was like, hey, have you seen the new HD display? I was like, no, I haven't. And he was like, well, the HD display, it would be great for watching movies. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm thinking about buying a TV for my dorm room, so, maybe I'll get the 17-inch and get the HD display so I won't have to buy a TV. So, I spent a couple hundred extra bucks there. And then he told me about some other options, right? He says, you could get, enhanced audio, right? And I like to listen to music, and I like to share music with my friends. So I was like, yeah, maybe I want to get enhanced audio. And then I have a lot of music. I have over 100 gigabytes of music, and he told me how I could, upgrade my hard drive and get, 500 gigabyte hard drive. So instead of spending, the $1,200 that I was planning on spending, I ended up spending $3,000, right? And you see, it wasn't because they were high pressure or pushy, right? It was because they explained, the feature and then the benefits, all right? So now, also, I have a different computer today. So if you look at my bag here, now I have this 13-inch MacBook. So I have the 17-inch, and do I need a 13-inch and a 17-inch MacBook?
No.
No, not really, right? But here's why I got it. Because I travel a lot. So I've actually been gone for 6 weeks of the year. And, I went to, Vienna and Budapest for a few weeks, Bratislava as well. I went to Whistler, went to Los Angeles, went to Las Vegas for a few weeks. So I like to travel, and when I have a 17-inch MacBook, it's really bulky to carry around. It gets heavy, carrying it through airports and through different city streets. And also, if I want to do work on the airplane, I'm throwing elbows to the neighbors, right? So, it's inconvenient. So I wanted to get a smaller computer since I travel a lot. It'd be easier to travel with. So I went into the store and I was like, I'll spend around $1,200 on a new MacBook Pro that's 13 inches. And I'm talking to the Mac guy, and he shows me the different 13-inch options. There's the MacBook Pro, which I was planning on getting, and then he tells me about the Retina display. So this is the 13-inch Retina display, and he told me that there was more, and at first I wasn't interested. But then he told me why it was different, and it was it's this it's a skinnier computer, so it's actually smaller than the MacBook Pro, and I was like, oh, all right, that's interesting. That gets my attention because I'm looking for something that's less bulky. And then it was the Retina display, and I didn't know what that meant, right? Just sometimes a customer doesn't know what the universal wedge lock handle is, right? So you tell a customer this is the universal wedge lock handle. What does that mean to them? Nothing, right? So you have to explain, again, what the benefit is. So we explained how there's more pixels per square inch and there's a more vivid picture. And I was like, that's cool, but I don't really need this to do HD resolution. I just need a computer to do work on. But then he shared some more with me. He told me how actually with this Retina display computer that you actually has a flash hard drive instead of a disk hard drive, which means it's less components. So it's less pieces to the computer on the inside. So if it breaks, it's easier to fix, and you don't have to spend as much to fix it. So I actually spilled some water on my computer in college, and I just spent over $1,000 to fix it at one point. So I was like, that makes sense. If I break my computer, it would make sense to spend less. So there's all these different features that he introduced me to in the 13-inch Retina display, and I ended up getting this this computer for an extra $800. Right? Now, again, did I need this computer? No, but it made my life more convenient. Right? You guys understand why I got it, right? Because I travel a lot. Okay. So isn't it funny how people buy things not just because they need them, right? I bought it because it was convenient. So I have a friend, and one of my good friends, his wife actually, and he were having a conversation, and she was talking about how she felt like it was time for them to get an iPad, they needed an iPad. All right. So by the way, does anybody here know somebody who has an iPhone? All right. So people who have iPhones, if they are going to go ahead and get a computer, what kind of computer are they usually going to get? A Mac, right? So if someone has a trimmer or a paring knife or a petite carver, and then they're gonna buy some more stuff for their kitchen, where are they likely to get their next kitchen stuff from? Cutco, right? Yeah. And do you guys also know people that have an iPhone, a MacBook Pro, and an iPad? Yeah. Now, do you need all three? Don't they essentially do the same thing? Yeah. Okay. So, well, she was saying, anyways. She was telling her husband, I think it's time for us to get the iPad. We need the iPad because when we're at night after we put the kids to bed and we're up in our bedroom, it's really annoying to walk down the stairs and have to go get the computer to come up to check our email. It'd be so much more convenient if we just had it right next to our bed. And the kids, they like to touch the screen and stuff. So I think we need an iPad. Now, guys, did she need an iPad?
No.
No, right? But it made her life more convenient. Do you guys know people with iPads? You understand why they buy them, right? Okay. So how much is an iPad?
800.
$600, $800, right? And again, doesn't it essentially do the same thing as a phone and a computer? All right. Well, let me ask you guys this then. What would you rather do? Would you rather spend $600 on an iPad, all right, or $600 on knives for life? Oh, what makes more sense? Yeah, okay? So here, smartphone. Who here has a smartphone? So, like, if you have an iPod or an iPhone, right? How much does an iPhone cost? Like $400, right? If you have the upgrade, it might be like $300. But actually, like a new iPhone 5 is $600. So, you know, but if you take the average smartphone, let's just say it's like $250, kind of like an average order size at Cutco. And how long is your smartphone going to last you?
Maybe.
Maybe a year or two. Okay, and then you're gonna have to do what? Get a new one, right? And then what are you going to have to do another year or two later?
Replace it.
Replace it again, right? Or it'll break. Who's ever broken an iPhone before? Like your screen's cracked? Yeah. So you guys realize you're going to spend like thousands of dollars on phones over the course of your life, right? You're just going to get a new one. Well, let me ask you this. What would be a better use of a customer's money? $250 on a smartphone, which is going to break in a year or two, or $250 on knives for life?
Nice for life.
Yeah, right? So how much are people spending on groceries every single week? Like what's the average grocery bill in a family?
200 to 400.
Like $200, $300, $400, right? Every single week. Okay, so look, if you're going to spend $200, $300, $400 on groceries every single week, wouldn't it make sense to spend $250 once on tools that you're going to use on those groceries forever?
Yes.
Would that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, okay? So now you guys are starting to understand like why our customers buy Cutco, right? Because some of you guys right now are like, you know, Cutco is really expensive, right? It's like, it's a lot of money, right? And to you guys it is. You never spend your money on knives, but you can't think that way because you're not showing Cutco to people like yourself. You're showing Cutco to people that live in homes, are married, or over the age of 30. And how often do they use cutlery?
Every day.
Every single day, that's right? How often do they buy groceries? Yeah, every single week, hundreds of dollars. So it makes sense for them to invest in a quality tool that they're going to use on those groceries, right? Every single week. Exactly, all right? So again, when you're going through the features and benefits, what you're doing is you're just building the value for the customer. So then we talk about like the double D edge, right? And how long does the double D edge stay sharp for?
Up to 10 years.
Up to 10 years, all right? You guys say that so casually, like up to 10 years? No, up to 10 years. Like Vern, what do you have today that like you had 10 years ago and you haven't had to do anything to it to like fix it or replace it for the last 10 years? No maintenance, nothing.
Nothing I can make.
Okay, right. Like I told you guys the story about Elise Majors yesterday, right? So she got 3 homemaker sets, one for each of her daughters, because she had her homemaker set for the last 20 years, right? She'd gone through 2 husbands in the time that she had her Cutco. It's the only thing that she still had that she had 20 years ago in her house. Right? So now you guys are starting to understand the value to someone who like lives in a home, is married over the age of 30, right? 10 years. What if you had a tank of gas like you wouldn't run out for 10 years? How much would you guys want to spend on that? Yeah? Or like a car that you didn't have to fix or replace for 10 years. Yeah, right? So 10 years. It stays sharp for 10 years. And that's the 5 features, right? Oh, and then it's guaranteed forever, right?
Wow.
So it's guaranteed for frickin' ever. So now you guys should be starting to understand why we sell so much, all right? And today, I have a couple objectives for you. And the first objective is, just like you're seeing right now, is for me to just show you guys how how you view and spend your money differently than people your parents' age, all right? So like Ricky, has your mom ever come, or everybody in the room, has like your mom ever come back from the store? Or you came back from like camp or something, and your parents were like really excited about something they spent a lot of money on, right? And you were just like, it's no big deal. Does anybody have any examples? Will?
A rug
A rug.
for
Okay.
our living room.
For your living room. Okay. Do you have any idea how much it cost?
I don't know. I know it's pretty expensive.
Okay. Do you guys know how much like Oriental rugs cost?
10 to 30 grand.
Okay, sometimes 10 to 30 grand, right?
Wow.
Now, Will, would you ever spend 10 to 30 grand on a rug?
No way.
No way, right? Okay, you go to Denver University, right? And you're in a frat there. Like, would your frat ever spend $10,000 on a rug?
Not a chance.
Not a chance, right? Because that's not what you value as a college student. Okay. So, anybody else have any examples of things their parents spent money on? Yeah, Michael.
Mom spent $400 on drapes.
On drapes, okay. So, what was your reaction when she did that?
I was astonished.
You were astonished because you were probably like, "Mom, we already had drapes." They do the same thing. They keep the light out, right? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah.
They're like, I could find a much better way for us to spend those $400, Mom. Yeah, right? So you just don't value drapes in the same way she did. But she was probably like, oh, Michael, look at our new drapes, right? You're like, Mom, you're crazy, right? So anybody's parents ever buy like a new dining room table before? Yeah? Okay, how much is like a new dining room table?
$2 grand.
Two.
Yeah, it's like a couple $1,000s, right? So, Will, University of Denver, right? Would your frat ever get a $2,000 dining room table?
No.
No, because you don't care about that, right? But like parents, like they want imported wood, they want it to like carved designs in it, because that's what they value. They want it to look nice for company, right? So Will, what kind of dining room table do you guys have?
Plastic folding tables.
Okay, so you value those differently. So for your dining room table, you don't care if it's imported wood. You just value like, oh, is this regulation size, right? Can I put 10 cups on each side, right? But would your mom ever have that table in her dining room?
No.
Never, right? Because you value things a lot differently than your mother does, right? So, and has anybody here ever, spent a lot of money on something that your parents thought was crazy? Okay, like what, Michael?
I bought rims for my car.
You bought rims for your car. Awesome, right? Are they spinners?
No.
No? All right, that's still cool, right? And how much were they?
$2,500.
What did your mom say?
She was really upset.
She was really upset, right? Because she doesn't value rims the same way you do, but they're pretty cool, aren't they?
I think.
Yeah, you think they're cool, right? Because that's what you value. Anybody here drink? Sorry, I'm not gonna telling you, okay? Yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah, some of you guys, a lot of you here drink, right? What's the most you guys have ever spent on like a night out?
$300.
$300 for it? Did you tell your mom about it the next day? No, why
I
not?
already saw it.
Yeah, she saw it.
Yeah, she could tell. But you didn't tell her how much you spent. Why?
She would
She
kill
would.
me.
Because she would kill you, right? Because she doesn't value drinking the same way you do, right? She thought you were crazy.
Oh yeah.
So, you think some of the things your parents spend their money on are crazy, but your parents think a lot of things you spend your money on crazy, or you spend your money on are crazy too. You guys understand? All right. So, and then the second objective is just to increase your belief in Cutco. And my third objective is to increase your excitement in the fast start. I'll just tell you the prizes. That'll be pretty easy, all right? But to continue going through this, right? So we go through the guarantee, and then we go through the individual pieces. This is the last thing I taught you guys yesterday. And when you're going through the pieces, it's really important for you guys to have enthusiasm in every single piece. Every single piece, right? You can't just be excited about the spatula spreader, because then you're going to sell a lot of spatula spreaders. You got to be enthusiastic about every single piece. And each piece is in the set for a specific reason. You need to explain this to the customer, right? So, like, does anybody here golf? Yeah. So, could you, right, putt with the driver? Could you do it? Yeah, you actually could, right? Is it a good idea?
No.
No, right? So, a putter's going to do a much better job. Correct? Yeah. So, guess what? You could chop with a butcher knife, or you could try to chop with a petite carver, but is the chef knife going to do a much better job? Yeah, so that's why we have the chef knife, right? Could you try to separate frozen food with a paring knife? You could, right? But is a butcher knife going to do a much better job? Yeah. So, ladies, anybody have a pair of high heels? Any of you run? So, Alex, like to go on runs?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you run a marathon in high heels?
I mean, could.
I guess you could, right? Would it be a good idea? No, right? So that's why we have all the individual pieces, because you have your high heels, and then you have your running shoes for different purposes, right?
Yeah.
Just like we have different knives for different purposes in the kitchen, right? So it's important for you guys to explain the importance of each piece, because if they want all the pieces, what are they going to get? The set, right? Yes. So you have to explain the purpose of each piece.
You guys are being entertained by the story. I would have written down that high heels. That is a great, freaking great analogy. I didn't write that down.
Yeah.
It drives that home.
John, can you have this uploaded?
All right. So the first thing we're going to do today then
Before day 2.
is let's take a look at how you guys did on your assignments. So blah, blah, blah. All right. Cool. And next what we're going to do is I actually just want to talk about some other types of cutlery out there. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know, is there time to continue or
I'm letting you go.
Yep.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Can you continue on with the assignments, how you flow?
I think
From
it's
there,
just
how it
whatever.
handles
It's
it?
just like, all right, so how'd you guys do your assignments? You came up with 20, 30 HM30s. All right, great. Congratulations on getting your assignment done, all right? So again, that's going to help make you a lot more successful here. Now came up with 40, 50. Awesome. You guys get chairs. What are some things you did that everyone else didn't do? Take notes. Great. All right. So now let's go through some of the other types of cutlery, because on your appointments, you're not just going to run into Cutco. You also have to be an expert on the market, right? So you have to know about other types of cutlery as well. Now I'm not going to spend a lot of time on junk knives, right? Because why am I not going to spend a lot of time on junk knives, guys?
some people may have higher quality knives.
Okay, so we also have junk knives, but why am I not going to talk about junk knives much, Will?
Cutco doesn't compare to.
Yeah, they don't compare. Like, you never compare like BMW to like a Kia, right? What do you compare BMW to? Like Mercedes or Audi, right? Like they're comparable high quality brand. So here's the deal with junk knives. You guys know why they're bad. I'm not going to talk about them too much. But what you need to understand is how expensive junk knives are. So, you know, just like we talked about yesterday, this knife right here, right? How much do you guys think this knife costs? Yeah, $5, $10, $20, right? It depends. You know, there's a range. But let's say this knife is $10. You guys remember like how long this knife is going to like last for?
6 months.
Okay, 6 months sometimes, right? Let's say it lasts 2 years, right? So if someone like cooks from age 25 to 65, by the way, do people stop cooking when they're 65?
No.
No, right? They cook until like they die because people eat until they die. Right? So, but let's just say it's 40 years. Someone has cooked, you know, has knives for 40 years. They replace, you know, their junk knife every 2 years. That's 20 replacements, and you know, that knife is not $10. It's $200. And people don't just have one knife in their kitchen, right? Like a bachelor might have 2 to 4, but a family's probably going to have like 6 to 10. So, I mean, you know, let's say they have 8 knives in their kitchen. That would be $1,600 that they're going to be spending on junk knives over the course of their lifetime. Even if they have just 5, they're spending at least $1,000 on knives over the course of their lifetime, probably a lot more. And that's what you guys need to know, is no matter what kind of cutlery somebody has, like even if they have like the worst of the worst, they're spending at least $1,000 on knives. All right? So now let's start talking about some brands that are more comparable to Cutco. The first one is called Chicago Cutlery. And with a name like Chicago Cutlery, where would you guys expect Chicago Cutlery to be made?
Chicago.
Yeah, it's made in China. So let's look at some of the features of Chicago Cutlery. Here's a Chicago Cutlery knife right here. What kind of handles do they have?
Wood.
Wooden. What's wrong with wooden handles?
Chip crack.
Yeah, they chip, crack, they break. What else?
Absorb.
Yeah, they absorb. They're unsanitary, right? Okay. And then, so Chicago Cutlery has brass rivets. What do you guys remember about brass rivets? Expand and contract, right? Exactly. Loosen. So, you know, they have those gaps for food particles. And then they they have like a higher quality stainless steel, right? So, you know, I have this junk knife right here, Josh, and then I also have the Chicago Cutlery knife, right? Can you tell? Oh, here you go. So like, there you go. Okay, sure. So Josh, can you tell the difference between these two knives?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can tell the Chicago Cutlery is like a higher quality knife, right?
Yeah.
You can tell like it's a higher quality steel. There's better craftsmanship. Yeah, that's right. So you know it is a better knife. It's a brand name. They've been making knives for a while, right? And there's some features that like are undesirable, but overall it's a better knife than a junk knife. Now the Chicago Cutlery knife, it's going to probably last around 2 to 3 years. And you know, then the handles are going to be full of bacteria, or like the blades are going to be worn down, and they should replace them. Now, not everybody's going to replace their knives when they should. Some people will kind of like just deal with it. So I would say the average person probably replaces their Chicago Cutlery every 7 to 10 years. So for instance, my parents, they just set a Chicago Cutlery when they first got married, right? And then like 10 years later, they got a new set. So they had 2 sets of Chicago Cutlery when I started showing Cutco. So, and as you guys can see, like the average set of Chicago Cutlery, so the Chicago Cutlery set that's the same size as our homemaker, so like their version of the homemaker, it costs $300 to $400. All right? It costs $300 to $400. So how does that sound to you guys?
Expensive.
Some of you are like it's kind of alright. Some of you guys like it's kind of expensive. And just realize the reason that like you think that's expensive is because like when's the last time you went knife shopping? Oh, never? Okay. So like you just don't have a concept of what knives cost. So the first time that I got a tire replaced on my car, the first time I got a flat tire, the guy told me, oh, that's gonna be $120. And my reaction was, oh, are you replacing all 4? He was like, no, that's just for one. Because I didn't know how much tires cost, right? So, I ran an office in Orland Park one year, and we had this like room, it was like the size of this room, it was actually about half this size, and like someone spilled Kool-Aid on the floor. So I had to get the carpet, no Kool-Aid allowed in training, right? So I had to get the carpet replaced, and it was $600 to get the carpet replaced. When they told me that price, I was like, can you just give me the cheap carpet? And they were like, this is the cheap carpet. Because I didn't know how much carpet costs, right? So you guys just don't have a concept of what good knives cost. So Chicago Cutlery, yeah, it's like about $300 to $400 for a set. But you guys can see how it's a better knife than a junk knife, right? Yeah. So now let's talk about some brands. By the way, assistant managers, right? Darren, you ever shown Cutco to somebody that owns Chicago Cutlery?
Yeah.
Yeah? How do those appointments usually go?
I think they all bought.
You think they all bought, right?
There's a lot of Chicago colors here. Not
Yeah.
anymore. But
Not anymore, not after you, right?
Just kidding.
And Like if someone tells you over the phone they own Chicago Cutlery, what are you thinking? Like, what are you expecting to sell?
Everything.
Everything. You're like,
I mean, you at least $300 probably a set.
yeah. Like whenever I got a hold of the set, like if someone told me they had Chicago Cutlery, I was thinking set. And they usually answer the phone like, you can come over, but I'm not going to buy anything because I own Chicago Cutlery. Right? So they're great people to show Cutco to because they think they have high quality, right? Like they're willing to spend a lot of money on cutlery, but then you go into the presentation and you blow them out of the water, right? So those are great appointments. Get really excited if you show Cutco to somebody who owns Chicago Cutlery. So now let's talk about Wusthof and Henkel's, and these are the brands that really compare to Cutco. And before I go through these, let me just explain that Henkel's and Wusthof, they have different lines of quality. So, Wusthof, they have the Icon series, which is what we compare the Homemaker to, but they also have like lower quality lines as well. So, you know how Ford has like the Mustang, but then they have the Fusion? Chevy has like the Corvette, but then they have the Cobalt? Yeah, Wusthof and Henkel's are the same thing. So they also have some lower level lines that are like just a junk knife with their logo on it. So what I'm comparing Cutco to is their top of the line, Henkel's and Wusthof, right? So Henkel's and Wusthof, they're both made in Germany. What do you guys know about German engineered products? They tend to be pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are some other like fine German engineered products?
Cars.
Cars, right? Yes. So yeah, Henkel's and Wusthof, they've been making knives since the 1800s. Think about that. Think about how long they've been making knives for, right? And they have, polypropylene handles. That's the same material used in our cutting boards. It's really durable. And they have high carbon stainless steel, just like us. So it's a really high quality steel. They have full tang handles, right? And if I didn't have Cutco, I'd for sure own Henkel's and Wusthof. I have nothing bad to say about them. They're really, they're really enjoyable. They're really sharp, and
So,
this is like the
yeah,
back.
lower quality one. There's
And I have a Henkel's and Wusthof knife if you guys can.
yeah,
Or tell your reps to like get them from their customers. Anyways, let's say this is the high quality one. All right. So, Jeremy, I want you to hold this Henkel's knife right here, this Wusthof knife. Okay? Does that knife ever feel like it's going to break on you? Yeah, probably not. So if someone has Henkel's or Wusthof, they may have to replace a knife here or there. They're going to have to like maybe get a new knife because it might chip it or something, or maybe it gets worn down. But for the most part, if they get a set of Henkel's or Wusthof, it's probably the last set of cutlery they'll ever buy. So it's probably the last set of cutlery they'll ever buy. And you can see that a set of Wusthof and Henkel's costs anywhere from $1,000 to $1,700. So, in fact, let me just show you guys some William & Sonoma catalogs right here. Pass them around. So check this out. So what is it normally on sale for? Or what does it normally go for? This set of Wusthof right here.
325.
Okay, what's it on sale for?
2,000.
$2,000, huh? Okay. Doesn't that kind of look like the Homemaker set?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me actually show you guys. Let me pull up WilliamSonoma.com right here. Check this out. Okay, this one's gonna freak you out. Look at this first one. It's like Henkel's, like Damascus steel, right? How much is this one usually, Darren? What's the normal price for this one right here?
Is that the
$5,000. What's it on sale for?
36.
How many knives is it?
4.
It's 4, right? That's like $1,000 a knife. Some of you guys, that's crazy, right? Right? So yeah, like high quality cutlery is really expensive, right? It's high quality stuff. So look at these sets right here. You see that there's some really expensive sets. And if we went to William & Sonoma today, what would we see people doing? Oh yeah, because William & Sonoma's gotten lots of different stores. They've been in business for a while. So what do people do there? They shop. They buy the things that they have. So if we went there, what would we see people buying?
Knives.
Henkel's and Wusthof, all right? And you guys might be like, that's a lot. Does anybody feel like that's a lot for knives?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. $1,000? Well, let's look at how much some other things in the house cost. So, how much does like a new couch cost?
Couple thousand.
Okay, a couple $1,000s, right? And so, like Vern, did your mom ever get a new couch?
Yeah.
By the way, did you like the old couch?
Yeah.
You didn't? Anybody here like the old couch was like really comfy, like the dog bit off the stuffing, and you're like, Mom, that's the comfy couch.
Right.
And she's like, no, we can't have company see it, right?
Yeah.
So she went off and spent like a couple $1,000s on a new couch, right? So, by the way, can you get a couch for less?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, if you go to like the thrift store, you can get a couch for like, $100. And some of you are like, I can get a couch for free on the side of the road, right? With stains on it. So, who gets like couches for free on the side of the road with stains on them? College students, right? Like, would your parents ever have that couch in their home? No. So how much do your parents spend on a couch? Thousands of dollars, right? But you guys see the difference? Like you college students, like you spend like a mattress. How much does a good mattress cost?
400.
1,000, 2,000.
Yeah, like the cheap one, right? So like, you know, my roommate Ellie, when I moved in with her, and you know, she was looking for mattresses, and she got a mattress on Craigslist used for $120. One of the cheapest ones she could find. Went over to like help her get it, and like there were stains on it, but she was like, whatever. Right? Guys, there's two things you never buy used: underwear and mattresses. All right, but who buys like, you know, like the mattress that's like $100, a couple hundred like dollars? College students, right? Okay. So, you know, if you're like married and like, you know, you have a house and this is the bed that you're like investing in, how much are you spending on a mattress? A couple $1,000, which is like a Tempur-Pedic mattress.
$2,000.
Yeah, okay. But you guys aren't spending that much on a mattress, right? You're like, whatever, I'll just put sheets on it. Okay. So, what else? Dining room tables, blah, blah, blah. Other crap. So now let's look in the kitchen, right? So yeah, how much is a new refrigerator?
Thousands.
Yeah,
Couple
$1,000.
thousand.
Couple thousand. Okay. Huh? Excuse me?
Somewhere like 14,000.
Okay, that's like the Sub-Zero, like the one that like blends in with the cupboards, right? That's like a kick-ass refrigerator, right? So yeah, there's some refrigerators that cost like $13,000, $14,000. A good refrigerator is going to cost, you know, at least $1,000, probably a couple thousand. Now, can you get a refrigerator for less? Can you get one used at the thrift store? Yeah, sure. Or like, can you get one, you know, like if you go to Sears, you can get like the white one with like the 2-drawer, like the old one that's like, you know, $700, $800, right? But yeah, refrigerators cost a lot. Now, why are couples willing to spend a lot on a refrigerator?
Lasting longer.
Okay.
Using it a lot.
They're using it a lot, right? So they're like, I'm going to use this every day, so it makes sense to invest in it and to spend a lot of money on it. How much does a microwave cost?
Couple hundred.
Couple $100, right? Yeah, like I know, Tanisha, I know you can get like the one on the counter for like $30 from the thrift store, right? But who gets those? College students, right? Yeah. So, but, you know, like parents, if they're like doing their kitchen, they're going to get the one that like, you know, it fits in with the cupboards. It's going to be a couple $100 at least. How much are cabinets, by the way?
So expensive.
85,000.
Say it again.
85,000.
There actually are cabinets that cost that much. So my best friend Charlie, his uncle, he makes Koa custom wood cabinets. So he like does them in Hawaii, and like the minimum for one of his jobs is $50,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so like the top of the line cabinets can cost $50,000 for the kitchen. So like how much is like our good cabinets, like just basic wooden cabinets?
Like 25. 30.
Sometimes, right? At least a couple $1,000s, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So and why are couples willing to spend that much on their cabinets?
Want to.
They want them to last, right? And by the way, like what makes like a cabinet like a good cabinet? Does it like hold stuff better or something?
This looks nice.
Just like looks nice, right? Okay. How about a dishwasher? How much does a good dishwasher cost?
A few grand.
Okay, a couple grand, right? At least $1,000, right? How about a new sink?
So much.
Okay, at least a couple $100, right? How about like like washer and dryer?
Thousands.
Couple thousand.
Thousands of dollars, right? So, you know, couples like, you know, they spend their money on things for the home, and they spend a lot of money on these things. I mean, if you redo a kitchen, right? How much does it cost to redo a kitchen? Anybody's parents ever redo a kitchen? By the way, do you have to be a millionaire to redo your kitchen?
No.
No. Do all of you know somebody who's redone their kitchen? Yes, right? Because you all know people that have frickin' kitchens. So anyways, how much does it cost to redo a kitchen?
$84,000.
Okay, yeah, so I have a friend who just redid his kitchen. It was $85,000 to redo his kitchen. All right? So, by the way, he didn't like do any additions or anything. He just redid the kitchen he already had. So, like, even if you're doing it like on the cheap end, how much does it cost to redo a kitchen?
10, 20.
Like $10, $15, $20,000. Oh, okay. So now what you guys understand why someone might get Henkel's or Wusthof, right? Spend $1,000, $2,000 on a set of knives that it's probably going to be the last set they ever buy, right? And you know, so now let me just ask you guys. You guys aren't your parents. You don't have your parents' money. But if you were and you had the education that you have now, what would you guys rather spend your money on? Would you rather spend it on Chicago Cutlery or Henkel's and Wusthof? Okay, Henkel's and Wusthof. And why would you guys rather spend it on Henkel's or Wusthof? Because it's more expensive.
It's better.
It's better, but it costs a lot more. So why would I want to spend more money on this knife?
Lasts longer.
Okay, it lasts longer. Okay, why else?
Nicer.
Huh?
It looks
better.
It looks nicer. Okay, works better.
Yeah, yeah.
Which knife am I going to enjoy using more?
Henkel.
Yeah, the Henkel's and Wusthof knife. Yeah. Why else?
It's made in Germany.
It's made in Germany, so it's like a better quality knife. You know, they engineer their products better, right?
Lasts longer.
Lasts longer. Okay, so look, a Chicago Cutlery knife. You know, you get a set of Chicago Cutlery. Let's say you get it when you're 25. You know, it's $300 to $400. Let's say it's $300. All right, and then you know, 10 years later, what are you going to do? Will?
Get a new one.
Get a new one, right? And then it's going to cost a little more because of inflation. And it's $350, and then you're 45 and you get one, and it's $400. You're 55, and it's $450. So look, you're spending like $1,600 to $2,000 plus on that Chicago cutlery knife. So is that what you mean, Will?
Exactly.
Like, you're going to save more money if you get Henkel's or Wusthof in the long run, or it's going to cost the same? Like, if it's going to cost the same in the long run, which one's going to like be more enjoyable? So it makes sense to have like a knife that you actually enjoy, right?
Right.
Okay. Does anybody feel differently? Would anybody get Chicago cutlery?
Yeah,
Now maybe.
Yeah, Austin? Okay. Why would you get Chicago cutlery?
they're just knives, it's cheap.
Okay. So they're just knives, it's cheap, it's less money. Okay. So this is where it's like a discussion. So like, what would everybody else, like, what do you guys think? What would you say to Austin?
I mean, maybe now I'd get
What is-
Chicago cutlery, so that's what I can afford.
Okay,
but-
like right now as a college student you would?
Yeah.
But again, we're saying if you're your parents, you
Yeah.
give your parents money. Okay? So Austin, you get Chicago cutlery, but Alex, what would you say to him? Why would you get Henkel's or Wusthof over Chicago cutlery?
It's just 100 times better, it seems.
It's 100 times better, it seems. Okay?
Yeah.
All right?
Probably makes you feel better too.
Makes you feel better too?
Yeah.
All right?
How
By the way,
about
who's ever cooked with a crappy knife before? Is it fun?
No.
No, you ever driven on a flat tire?
Yes.
It's kind of like driving on a flat tire. So you cook how often?
Every day.
Every day. So if you cook with like a crappy knife, like cooking becomes like a pain in the ass. Like some people hate to cook because they have crappy knives. And like that's why it makes sense to get a good quality knife, because if you're gonna be doing it every single day, you might as well enjoy what you're doing, right? As opposed to like getting frustrated every time you have to frickin' eat, which is every day, right? So, any other reasons? Anything else anybody would say to Austin? Darren?
You're probably gonna have to buy another set of Chicago once or twice.
Okay.
It's gonna cost you more, dude.
So Austin, what do you think? Still getting Chicago cutlery?
I don't know.
You know? Okay. By the way, that's okay. Some people are going to get Chicago cutlery. Not everybody's going to buy Cutco either. All right. So now let's compare Henkel's and Wusthof to Cutco. Should I keep going there, or should I stop?
Keep it.
So after that, it's just
People are getting a lot of value from this.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
we'll have the whole thing on tape. And then we can role play and cut down on my wrap up. So, go ahead and do the Cutco comparison. Go ahead. They want it.
all right. So Cutco comparison. All right. So now let's compare Henkel's and Wusthof to Cutco. So all right, Wusthof made in Germany, Cutco made in the United States. Who wins?
We do.
USA.
Yeah, right, because we live in the United States, right? So obviously for us. Okay, polypropylene versus thermal resin, 3 times more durable. Who wins?
Us.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so high carbon stainless steel, high carbon stainless steel. It's like a tie, right? And actually, ours performs 2 points harder on a hardness test. If you guys watch the Modern Marvels video, remember that Catra test? So Cutco performs 2 points harder than Henkel's and Wusthof, right? That's because we can control all the different quality elements. We actually have our own forge in Pennsylvania. So, but yeah, I mean, it's either a tie or Cutco wins by a little bit. And then full tang, who wins? It's a both full tang, right? So it's a tie. Straight handles versus ergonomic, who wins?
Ergonomic.
Yeah, right? Okay, and then the guarantee, right? Oh, double D edge versus straight edges, who wins?
Double D.
Yeah, right? Sharp for 10 years versus sharpen after. You guys remember how often you got to sharpen straight edges?
Every day.
Okay, like it's recommended every, once or twice a week. Professionals after every use. So, and then the guarantee, right? Defects only versus 4-point forever guarantee. Who wins there?
4 point forever.
Not even a question, right? So, guys, if you ask people who own Cutco, like what they think about it, they'll tell you it's 10 times better than any knives they've ever owned before. Now, I know you guys are just trainees, and you haven't had that chance to use it that much yet, but even as trainees, when you consider like the unique features and the guarantee, can you guys agree that Cutco's at least twice as good as Henkel's and Wusthof?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if it's twice as good, offers twice the quality, twice the value, what should it ask for in price?
Twice the price.
Right, so then you guys understand why Cutco would cost $2,000 to $3,400. So, I understand that, you guys would never like spend that much on, knives. If I gave you $2,000, $3,400, who here would go and spend it at Williams Sonoma on a set of Henkel's or Wusthof?
No way.
None of you, okay? But you'd find a way to spend that money, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So let's look at some of the things you guys like to spend your money on, all right? So, who here has something they like to spend money on? Yeah? Okay. Austin, how about you? Would like to spend money on?
Shoes.
Medication.
Shoes, nice, okay. And how many pairs of shoes do you have?
I don't even know. It's like this giant closet stacked to the walls. shoes
Yeah?
everywhere.
If you had to like guess, how many pairs of shoes would you say you have?
30.
60.
60. Wow. Are you like a Jordans guy or like
Mainly Jordan.
mainly Jordans? Okay. So how much would you say your average pair of shoes cost you?
Maybe $150.
Like $150. Okay. You feel like 60 pairs of shoes. So let's just do some math here. All right. So that's like $9,000 on shoes. That's a lot of money, right? Okay. Now you like shoes a lot, right? Like it's something you really value. Like, would you say you're a shoe guy?
Oh.
Yeah, I'd say you're a shoe guy. Yeah, you're definitely a shoe guy. You know, so and you have $9,000 of shoes. Now, do you like need all those different pairs of shoes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you actually like shoes a lot. So you're like kind of like I love my shoes. So I mean, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're like I kind of need shoes. Remember, does he like actually need his shoes?
No.
No, but like he gets a lot of value from them, so he like loves his shoes, right? Now, is there anybody here who, you know, has like just a couple pairs of shoes? Is anybody like that's? There's no way you need six pairs of shoes. I need like 3 or 4, right? Josh, are you like dress shoes, gym shoes, flip flops kind of guy? Yeah, right. So you don't value shoes the same way what Austin does. But are you mad at him for spending his money on shoes?
No.
By the way, Austin, are you personally a millionaire?
No.
No. How old are you?
23.
23. Okay. All right. So Josh, what do you like to spend your money on? I saw that you like to play video games, right? So what kind of video games do you like to play?
Halo, Gears of War,
Okay. What system do you have?
Xbox.
Xbox. Okay. Is it like the 360 or like do you have like the old one too or?
I got the PS3.
You actually the PS3. Okay.
PS2.
PS2. Any other systems?
PS1.
PS1. So all the PlayStations. Nintendo. Okay.
64.
It's 64. How much do those systems cost? How much like the 64 cost?
Well, when it came out, it was like a couple hundred.
$200. The PlayStation.
Couple hundred.
How much was your PlayStation 3?
It was like 500.
Wow. So you probably spent like $1,200 on systems, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay. And then like how many games do you have total?
Oh, a lot of games.
Yeah. How many would you guess?
20 for each system.
20 for each system. So that's like 100 games and or 80, I guess. And how much would you say your average game cost?
50, 60 bucks.
50, 60. So we have like 1,200 for the system, and then 80 times 60. So that's 4,800 on games. Controllers?
Yeah, I mean, well, I had
You have
4 for the
extras, or-
64 and 4 for the Xbox, 4 for the
So like
PS3.
6 extra controllers.
Yeah.
How much would you say an average controller costs?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
30 bucks.
30 bucks. So it's like say 180. All right. Whew. So that's $6,180 on video games. Wow. All right. Now you like video games, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like you get a lot of entertainment from them. You get a lot of value from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you need video games?
Yeah.
Okay. So you could like read a book, right?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Or go play outside.
Sure.
Do video games make you smarter? Yeah, improves your eye-hand coordination, right? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. But for you, so you like video games, so you spent $6,000 on video games. And Josh, how old are you?
18.
18. Okay. Are you a person millionaire?
No.
Okay. Anybody here like I would never spend $6,000 on video games? Like Alex, you don't play video games, right?
No.
You would never spend that much money on video games, right? But are you mad at Josh for spending his money that way? No. So when people want something, they'll spend a lot of money on it. So Alex, what do you like to do?
I like to go shopping.
Like shopping, okay, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. All right. Other examples. All right. So, who here likes to eat out? Right, blah, 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 blah. Who else here has something like to spend money on? What's what's something you guys like to spend money on?
Movies.
Snowboarding.
Movies?
Cars.
Okay. Like, do you
Music.
like to go out to movies or like DVDs or
Both.
both? Okay. So, how often do you go out to the movies?
3 times a month.
3 times a month? Okay. How much does it cost each time you go to the movies?
$30.
$30, okay. And so that's like $90. It's like $90. Do you get snacks too, or is that like completely?
That's what the sign.
Okay, so like, let's just say $100 to make it a round number.
Yep.
So $100 a month, and then do you have DVDs?
Yeah.
Okay, how many DVDs do you have?
A little over 600.
Wow,
That's a lot of
good collection, huh? How much does your average DVD cost?
20.
20. So that's like
And then Blu-rays are 30.
Blu-rays are 30. So what is that? Is that 1,200? That's 12,000. Okay, so it's 12,000 on videos plus 100 every month, right?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
26.
Are you a millionaire?
No.
No.
Not
Okay.
yet.
Do you need? There you go. I like the attitude. I like the confidence, right? So, do you need 600 movies, 600 DVDs?
No.
No, right? You could like get Netflix or like find other ways to entertain yourself. Okay,
Yeah,
but it's something you enjoy doing, right?
Yeah.
You spent $12,000. Stop. So look, if you've spent $12,000 on DVDs, right? You just can't. Like you cannot tell me that somebody can't afford Cutco. Like there's no argument. Like you just can't do that. There's no argument. If you can spend $9,000 on Air Force Ones, $6,000 on video games, like you guys just you can't come to me and say like somebody can't afford an average order size of $250. Agreed. Okay. Yeah. There's no argument. All right. So do you guys have friends who smoke cigarettes?
Yeah.
Okay. How much is a pack of cigarettes?
$7.
7, 8 bucks. Okay. How many packs do they buy in a week?
One every day.
Some of them one every day. Okay, so they're spending like 50 bucks, 60 bucks, right? Even if it's like 3 packs a day or 3 packs a week or so, that's $20. That's $1,000 a year over 50 weeks, right? And are they complaining about how they're broke?
Yes.
So are they broke?
No.
No, they're just choosing to spend their money on cigarettes, right? Because that's what they value, okay? So everybody spends money. They spend on the things that they value. And I'll go through other examples, right? And if you have money if you have money to spend on things like this, right? Just think of how much like a family, right, that has a home that's over the age of 30, like a couple of like if they have 2 jobs sometimes, think about how much they have to spend on things that they like and they want. And what do couples want? What do they value? Things for the home, right? Exactly. Okay. So I'm not saying that like people are just like throwing money around. I'm not saying that, like your parents like making it rain, right? People ask questions when determining like, do I want something, right? There's questions people ask to determine like, do I want this, right? So what are some of the questions people ask? We'll go through all the questions, right? What if I told you you could match up yes to all these? Yeah. So go through Cutco. Yeah, so now do you guys understand why over half the people that see Cutco end up buying? Yeah, okay? Like that's why we have 18 million customers, because it answers up yes to every single one of those questions. And if somebody owns Cutco, they're reminded of that every single day. That's why people who own Cutco buy 80 to 90% of the time, right? So when I was in training and I understood this, I started to feel really good, right? Because I realized when someone bought Cutco from me, like they were getting a service. That's how I felt. I didn't feel like I was selling anybody Cutco. I felt like I was offering them the opportunity to own an amazing product. So I felt really good. And I showed Cutco to a lot of people that I knew. And the people that bought it, they thanked me year after year. All right? So, guys, Cutco answers yes to every single one of these questions. And Cutco's the only product I can think of. In fact, I can't think of any product that answers yes to just 2 of these questions. Use every day, last forever. Can you guys tell me anything else that a customer has that they'll use every single day, will last forever? No, that's just those 2. And then the answer is yes to all the other questions also. Right? So, for me, I feel like Cutco is one of the best investments a customer could ever make. So, other metaphors, blah, blah, blah. So your job is to, show them how to build value. What are the different things that build value, right? By the way, take out your notes. All those questions we asked earlier, like Cutco answering yes to each of those questions, that builds more value. Let's go through them. So materials, right? Demonstrations, yeah. Blah, 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 make the whole list. So those are all things you guys do in the appointment that build value for the customer. So if you are enthusiastic and you're reading your manual, right? At the end of the appointment, what's the customer going to see?
Value.
The value, that's right, okay? And then what's going to happen? Yeah, most of them are going to buy.
Most of them.
All right. So the point of this section that we just went through is for you guys to understand. First off, that there's a big difference between how you spend money and how your parents spend money. Who makes more money? Your parents, right? Yeah, they spend more, right? And you guys spend it on different things. Yep. Yeah, because everybody has money to spend. They just spend it on the things that they want, the things that they value. Your parents, they value things for the home. And the other thing you guys have to understand about this section is that your job is to do what? Build the value. That's right. And if you're enthusiastic and you read your manual, you're going to build the value for the customer, all right? And then what's going to happen?
Sales.
Right. And that's why we have so many customers. And there's people just like you, Vern, with the same training who made that happen. So we'll stop there.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Outstanding. How you opened is much different than what I'm accustomed to, and I absolutely love that. How fast can we get that uploaded?